Good day, my name is Christel from Frans Klerk, Independent Technical Analysts. Akbar wanted us to kick off the show with Reinet. Now we can see that Reinet is caught within that rising channel at the moment. But there is also a couple of upper shadows there, and we can see this might be a possible tweezer top. Akbar, if the share continues to decline below the bottom of this candle, which will also confirm this rising channel when this lower band of the channel changes into a resistance. Now, all these upper shadows on the candles imply profit taking, which tells me that when this share starts to consolidate below this level of 263 Rand 82, a possible double top will be confirmed. Now, a double top normally appears at the top of a rally, and we can see that there is clearly an uptrend here. It bounces at some level of resistance, retraces, found support again, bounces again, and then almost at the same level of the previous time, found resistance and retrace. So if Reinet does not change 286 Rand and 9 cents into a support again and continues to rise to higher levels, this possible double top will become a reality when that 263 Rand changes into a resistance. Now, the target of my possible double top, or the target of this rising channel, is when I confirm the channel. Let's say the channel will be confirmed there around 260 Rand. The target of the formation can take the share back to 222 Rand. Now, we know that one, it won't happen in one session, and two, bear in mind that this rising channel started to, or was formed since about November 2018. So, but that's about a year in the making for this formation. So it can take a year, if not longer, for that target to be reached. But keep in mind that strong indicator is our 40-week moving average, and that is the red line on the graph. And when this moving average changes into a resistance, my long-term sentiment towards the share will change to negative. At the moment, it's clearly positive, and we can assume that the momentum to the top will continue, but that 286 Rand is a strong level of resistance that first needs to change into a support. And yes, of course, my stochastic is in overbought territory. It's above an 80, but the two moving averages within my indicator still points upwards. And it shows me that there's not a loss of momentum yet. At the moment, the only sign of profit taking I can see is in those upper shadows on the candles. But a rising channel should not be ignored because it can spark a little bit of a pullback. Kref wanted us to look at Prosus, and I assume then he wanted us to look at the one on the JSE and not the one on the Euronext. Now, obviously, it's newly listed, which makes it very difficult to analyze. There's not a lot of data, but we can see that there is a possible tweezer bottom in the making here. Now, what is a tweezer bottom? It's a dual candle pattern where the share found strong support at almost the same levels at the bottom of a downtrend. Now, we can see that Prosus is clearly in the downtrend, but this possible tweezer bottom will be confirmed when that high of the candle waiting there at 1,054.74 changes into a support. And then this tweezer top implies, or will imply when it will be confirmed, that this stock might be on the turnaround to reach for higher levels. What does concern me, Kref, about Prosus is that there was previously a possible turnaround, but then in the next session in the week of the 21st of October, there was a clear sell-off. So what the best idea would be is to wait for a higher low. Now, what is a higher low? So it's a pullback in a stock, finds support, rises again, pulls back again, but finds supports at a higher level than the previous support. And when the share finds somewhere support, no matter where it might be, and rises again, when that previous resistance changes into a support again, we confirm it as a higher low. And that is normally positive. It tells me that there are buyers that are protecting the stock in every pullback. So let's hope we can see a higher low in Prosus. Yes, there is a possible tweezer bottom in the making, but I would prefer to wait for a higher low before I start to nibble. level. The other thing is there's also no 40-week moving average on the graph yet. Why? Because there's no 40-week moving average of closing data yet, and obviously not enough data even for a stochastic indicator. So I would be a little bit hesitant and wait for a higher low. Alvin wanted us to look at Willis, one of the shares that was beaten hard on our market. If we look back, I mean, it reached highs in November 2015 of around 107 Rand and just plummeted to lower levels. But Willis is a graph that are full of double tops and double bottoms. And we can see when this possible double bottom here in the week of the 8th of July 2019 was confirmed, when that red line, the 40-week moving average, changed into a support and remained a support. That was the first bell that Willis might be looking for higher levels. And yes, again, the share pulled back, but found support at a higher level than the previous support and bounced again. Now, the next higher low was confirmed on Willis when 58 Rand 54, that horizontal line that I've drawn in there, changed into a support. And that is a critical level that needs to remain a support in order for us to believe that Willis can maybe go back to 64 Rand 79, which is a strong resistance level, and even as high as 68 Rand and 2 cents. Now, the 40-week moving average is a support, which tells me the long-term sentiment towards the share is positive. So my first warning, Alvin, will be on Woolworths when 58.54 changes into a resistance on a weekly close. Remember, this is a weekly graph. And then my other support is waiting there at 52 Rand 89. So even if the stock, even if Willis pulls back a little bit, that 52 Rand 89 has to remain a support in order for me to have a little bit of belief that there will be enough buyers' interest to lift the stock to higher levels. I think it's starting to look a lot better. We can see this was a possible double top that played out, but double bottoms here. So there's this graph, and there again a distorted double top. So double tops and double bottoms are clearly formations that we should take note of on Willis. But I think the graph is starting to look healthy. Those are strong support levels and resistance levels that we can take at a look at and keep in mind to make our decisions. Will wanted us to look at Sabina. Now, to be honest, personally, I'm not sure where to take profit at the moment, because with a 75% profit on our portfolio, we're not sure what to do. But there is a window on Sabina, and I've mentioned before, I'm waiting there around 34 Rand 18, which is a gap on a graph, and especially on a weekly graph. It should not be ignored. Now, what does a gap mean? It's an opening on a graph where there was no trading that has taken place. And the rules of windows are they always get closed. It can take weeks, some months, decades, but the rules of windows on technical graphs means they always get closed. So yes, the stock might not even go that high, but at some stage that window will be closed. Now, I've moved our horizontal line up a little bit, and if I go back to the history, I can see that 24 and 51 on Sabina is a clear support level or resistance level that was tested and honored in the past. So therefore, we can see in the week of the 21st of October 2019, when the stock retraced back in that week, there was enough buyers to protect the share at 24 and 51. So I would consider that as a strong support level. Even going back, I can see previously it was tested and either remained a resistance or was changed into a support at 24 and 51. So I would see that as a very strong support. And my other resistance level that is now being tested, that has remained a support last week, is 27 Rand 91. Now, again, if I look back, I can see with that distorted double top, that was a strong level that changed in a resistance and created a massive sell-off, but also was protected as a support in June 2016 to take this share to higher levels. So I would use 27 Rand 91 as a critical level that the stock has to consolidate and close above it on a Friday close for Sabina in order to slightly believe that that window at 34 Rand 18 can close. And the question was, can it even go higher? Absolutely. We can see that the level around 37 Rand 75 is also a critical resistance that the share can maybe go and test before it loses momentum. Now we can see see, and the gold price is up again this morning, but we can see that Sabina previously made healthy pullbacks that gave traders opportunity to maybe take profit at these tweezer tops, but buy again in on the pullbacks with the turnaround bullish engulfing candle. So we don't know how low Sabina is going to pull back. So if you are a new investor, I definitely not suggest getting in now, even not even on pullbacks, because it's already had a massive rally. We can maybe look at arrow gold counters, and I've got a few requests here that we can look at on the overseas market to maybe get gold exposure if you want to believe, like a lot of analysts believe, that the gold price is going to go back to $2,000. And maybe I can use this opportunity to have a look at Alamos Gold, because we were looking at Barrick Gold and we looked at Newmont, popular gold companies. But one of those that are not that popular or not that well known is Alamos Gold, and they are listed on the New York Stock Exchange. It's nicely oversold, but what caught our eye most importantly is this morning star formation. Now, a morning star candle pattern is a 3-candle pattern. It normally appears at the bottom of a downtrend. And yes, Alamos is in a downtrend. It's got a bearish engulfing candle with a doji candle followed by a bullish candle. Now, if Alamos can change that level there around $5.66 into a support, this morning star formation will be confirmed, which means that the stock can maybe find enough buyers again to turn around for higher levels. But take note how close that 40-week moving average is to that resistance level to confirm the morning star formation. So if the share can find enough buyers to lift it above $5.66, and especially that 40-week moving average waiting at $5.58, then we can maybe see higher levels. And if I zoom out, you can see this is a share that traded around $16.85 in September 2013. And their debt levels, they're really trying to get their debt levels in order. And with the gold price doing what it is at the moment and maybe even reaching for higher levels, obviously their profitability would be a lot better. Yes, the stock is oversold on the stochastic and pointing upwards. So maybe this is a gold share that one can consider in the US market.